I am Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro. That night, July 10th, 2016, at the Stade de France, I still get goosebumps when I talk about what happened. That night, my tears fell on the pitch, but history was written differently. This is the story of a child's dream that turned into the greatest victory in history. I was just a little boy, running through the narrow streets of Madeira, worn-out shoes on my feet, a burst ball in my hands, but in my eyes, there was an endless dream. Every night in bed, I imagined myself wearing the Portugal jersey, with thousands of fans cheering for me in the stadium. My mother, Dolores, would see me, and with that warm smile say, "Cristiano, you are going to do great things, my son. I can feel it." My father, Jose, with his tired eyes, would look at me with pride and nod. Back then, I didn't know that the greatest of those great things was waiting for me. On the hills of Funchal, among the old white houses, I would always dream the same dream, at Wembley Stadium, at Santiago Bernabeu, and most of all, in a final with Portugal's national team. In that dream, we always won. I always scored the final goal, but real life would be much more complicated. When I started playing football, I wasn't just kicking a ball, I was dreaming. With every touch, with every goal, I told myself, this goal is for Portugal. From Andorinha to Nacional, from there to Sporting, every step was a step toward the big goal. From my small club to Sporting, from there to Manchester United, to Real Madrid, with every step, the same voice echoed in my head. You are the hope of this country, Cristiano. When I left Madeira at 12 years old, I cried. On my way to Lisbon, I watched the island shrink through the window. My mother's last hug, my siblings' last goodbyes. Those tears were only a rehearsal for all the tears of joy and pain I would shed in the future. That small island I carried in my heart always reminded me, no matter how high you rise, never forget where you came from. At that young age, on lonely nights, I would look at the stars through the window and whisper, one day, all of Portugal will shout my name. That wasn't just a childish dream. It was a vow from the depths of my soul. If this story moves you too, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I have many more inspiring moments to share with you. The beginning of 2016, as the captain of the Portuguese national team, I carried the dreams of 10 million people on my shoulders. Every training session, every match, was preparation for Euro 2016. But this wasn't just a tournament for me. This was the moment my childhood dream would come true. At the training camp in Cidade do Futebol, I looked at my young teammates and saw myself in them. The hunger in Renato Sanchez's eyes, the determination of William Carvalho, the passion of André Gomes. In tactical meetings, I would tell them, listen, this is our time. We are not just playing football. We are writing history. Each of you, when you wear this jersey, you are carrying the dream of millions of Portuguese. In those days, I couldn't sleep at night. I would lie awake in my hotel room for hours, thinking. I remembered Euro 2004. We had hosted it, we had reached the final, but the pain of that night was still in my heart. This time it will be different, I had promised myself. Fernando Santos pulled me aside and said, Cristiano, you're not just a player anymore. You are a leader, a symbol. These boys are looking at you. He was right. Even on the training ground, they watched my every move. They matched my running pace. They joined me in extra sessions after practice. The Portuguese press, the fans, everyone was talking. Is this Cristiano's last chance? He's 31, a Ballon d'Or winner, but still no major trophy with the national team. Pressure? Number for me, it was a privilege. Because I knew in this tournament I wasn't playing just for myself. I was playing for the millions who loved me. From the opening match of the tournament, every game was a battle. We started with a 1-1 draw against Iceland. The media was critical, but I knew that getting through difficult groups was sometimes like that. The matches against Austria and Hungary weren't easy either. But every game brought me one step closer to the final and made me feel the weight of that great dream even more on my shoulders. In the knockout stages, we defeated Croatia in extra time and Poland on penalties. After every match, I lived through emotional moments. I could feel the love of our fans. I could see the hope growing in their eyes. In the semi-final against Wales, I faced Gareth Bale. He was his team's star, just like I was for mine. But we won, and we were in the final. July 10th, 2016, Paris. When I woke up, the first thing I felt was that my heartbeat wasn't normal. I opened the window and breathed in the morning air of Paris. The Eiffel Tower stood in the distance as if it was greeting me. This was the day, the greatest day in Portuguese history. I stayed in the hotel room for hours, staring at myself in the mirror. At the 31-year-old Cristiano, there were already lines on my face, but the fire in my eyes had never gone out. Today, you become a legend, Cristiano, I told myself. And in the mirror, I didn't just see me. I saw my father Jose's proud gaze, my mother Dolores's prayers, the hopes of all Madeira. I couldn't eat anything at breakfast. The butterflies in my stomach, that nervous energy of excitement. Pepe sat next to me, quietly sipping his tea. "How do you feel, Captain?" he asked. "Ready," I said. "I've never been more ready." At the midday training, when I stepped onto the grass of the Stade de France for the first time, even the emptiness of the stadium moved me. That evening it would be filled with 75,000 people. I took the ball, shot a few times. Each strike felt like preparation for the night to come. When I walked into the locker room, I saw the mix of emotions in my teammates' eyes. Excitement, fear, hope, anxiety. I felt them all. I looked at Pepe. We had fought together for years. At Rui Patricio, we had never had a goalkeeper this good. At João Moutinho, Nani, Ricardo Quaresma, I looked into each of their eyes one by one. "Friends," I said, raising my voice, "tonight we will write history. 90 minutes, maybe 120, but afterwards all of Portugal will cry for us, and this time they will be tears of joy. We have lived for this match. Now it's time to step on that field and prove it." As Fernando Santos gave his final tactical instructions, I glanced out the window. Outside the stadium, thousands of Portuguese fans had gathered. I could hear their loving chants. This wasn't just a game, it was a nation's dream. Walking through the tunnel, I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. Every step brought back a memory from my journey. The small pitches in Madeira, my first professional game at Sporting, my first goals at Manchester, the victories at Madrid, the Ballon d'Or trophies, all of it had prepared me for this moment. When the French national anthem played, I quietly sang the Portuguese anthem to myself. And when a Portuguesa began, tears welled up in my eyes. In that instant, the little boy from Madeira and the man I had become stood together. As we walked out onto the field, the roar of 75,000 voices thundered in my ears. Yet inside, I was in complete silence. I felt a great peace within me, because I knew this was my night. My whole life had been preparing me for this moment. When the match began, with every touch I could feel history. From the very first minutes, we played aggressively against France. Whenever the ball was at my feet, the stadium seemed to fall silent. The fans held their breath, but fate had other plans. In the 8th minute, I had my first chance. The ball came from Nani. I turned, about to shoot, but Bakary Sagna's tackle stopped me. Close, I thought. So close. By the 15th minute, I got even closer. I ran toward Hugo Lloris's goal, but the ball refused to find the net. Every missed chance left a small wound in my heart. It felt as if destiny was playing games with me. Then, the 25th minute, the nightmare. In a challenge with Dimitri Payet, his tackle struck my left knee with brutal force. I felt a searing pain, like thousands of needles piercing my leg at once. The moment I hit the ground, my world went dark. It wasn't just physical pain. I felt my dreams, my hopes, shattering into pieces. Lying there on the grass, feeling its coldness beneath me, with tears streaming from my eyes, one thought kept echoing. Is this it? After all these years, is this how it ends? In the stands, my mother was crying. My father had his hands over his face. Inside me, a voice kept saying, "Get up, keep going." But my body wasn't answering. Dr. João Eusebio rushed onto the pitch, examined my knee. From the look on his face, I already knew. He said softly, "You can't continue, Cristiano. The medial collateral ligament is damaged." Those words echoed in my head like thunder. I felt the whole world collapse on me. As I limped toward the sideline, dragging my leg, I could hear our fans shouting, "Cristiano, please don't give up. Stay for us." Their voices, filled with desperation and pleading, tore me apart inside. If this moment moves your heart too, don't forget to hit like. Sharing these memories with you brings me a joy you can't imagine. After they wrapped my knee, I tried to continue. I clenched my teeth so hard my jaw hurt. I fought through the pain. I ran. I battled. But with every step, the pain grew worse. I looked at Ricardo Quaresma, trying to say with my eyes, "I'm still here." But 17 minutes later, I couldn't take it anymore. My body refused. The pain was unbearable. I went over to Fernando Santos, looked him straight in the eyes. We didn't need words. He understood everything. As I came off, I hugged him and whispered, "Take them there, boss." From the sidelines, "I'll take them too. Tell them Cristiano is always with them." That moment was one of the hardest of my life. It felt like my dream had been shattered. When I sat on the bench, the first feeling was deep despair. But then, something else awakened inside me. "Don't forget you're the captain," I told myself. "Leadership isn't just about playing, it's about guiding." I stood up at the touchline, shouting as loud as I could. With every misplaced pass, every missed chance, I screamed at my teammates, "Come on! This is our night!" My voice echoed through the stadium. The fans could hear me, and they shouted too. To Nani, "Keep pushing down the left wing." To William, "The midfield is yours." To Pepe, "You are our rock." Every tackle, every run, my voice was behind them. The first half ended 0-0. In the locker room, I gathered everyone. "Listen to me," I said. "This is not over. I may not be on the pitch, but my heart is beating with you out there. Every time you wear this jersey, you carry Cristiano with you." The second half was the same. With every French attack, I felt like I was having a heart attack, but I trusted my brothers. I knew them. I believed in them. With every intervention from Pepe, with every save from Rui Patricio, I thought, this is our match. When André-Pierre Gignac's shot hit the post, my heartbeat stopped. So close, but Rui, with a miracle reflex, saved it. "Bravo, Rui!" I shouted until my voice broke. 90 minutes ended. Extra time began. I forced myself to stand, even with the pain in my leg. Inside me, something stronger than pain was alive. Hope. By the first half of extra time, we still hadn't scored. My teammates looked drained, some tired. I ran to them, gathered them all. "Listen, just 15 more minutes. 15! You can do this. Look, Eder, you're going on, and you will make history. I believe in you." When Eder stepped onto the pitch, I went straight to him. "Listen to me, Eder," I said. "Today you will be a legend. I feel it. Go and show them what you've got." Then came the 109th minute. João Moutinho picked up the ball in midfield, looked up, and in that moment, time slowed down. He sent a breathtaking pass to Eder. When Eder took the ball, I couldn't breathe. My heart stopped. I stood on the touchline, clapping my hands together like in prayer. "Come on, Eder, now!" I screamed. My voice echoed through the stadium. Eder drove forward. With his left foot, he controlled the ball, brushed past André-Pierre Gignac. Koscielny was chasing him, but Eder was faster, hungrier, unstoppable. Hugo Lloris stood in goal, hands up, ready. And then, 25 meters from goal, Eder struck. That left-footed rocket flew through the air as if the world itself had frozen. The stadium, 75,000 people, held their breath. I stood there on the sideline, hands clasped to my chest, waiting as if in prayer. And then, goal! The ball exploded into the top left corner. Lloris had no chance. That moment, words fail me. It felt like the heavens opened and angels sang. Eder had scored, and I leapt into the air. The pain in my knee vanished, everything disappeared. I ran onto the pitch, hugging my teammates. I threw my arms around Eder so tightly he could barely breathe. "You did it! You are a legend!" I shouted into his ear. The joy in his eyes, the pride, it was mirrored in mine. The Portuguese fans in the stadium went wild. Their screams of happiness sounded just like the echoes of my childhood dreams. In the stands, I saw my mother and father. They too were crying. Tears of joy this time. Thank you for living this incredible moment with us. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss more stories like this one. In the final minutes, it felt like I was living in a dream. Every second passed slowly. The French made their last desperate attempts, while we waited for the final whistle. When referee Marc Clattenburg blew after Antoine Griezmann's last shot was cleared for a corner, my world changed. I ran onto the pitch, collapsing into a pile with my teammates. I was crying, laughing, screaming all at once. 31 years of waiting had ended. Portugal were champions of Europe. For the first time in our history, we had won a major trophy. Fernando Santos came to me and embraced me. "Cristiano," he said, "you were the soul of this team. Even if you weren't on the pitch, you were always in our hearts." Those words touched me deeply. When the trophy ceremony came, my knee still ached, but I didn't care. Standing on that platform, looking up at the silver trophy above me, it felt like a dream. When Michel Platini handed it over, I held it in my arms. The weight of that silver wasn't just metal. It was the weight of millions of Portuguese dreams. It was the weight of my own childhood dream. As I lifted the trophy into the sky, tears streamed down my face. "This is it," I thought. "This is what we lived for." Pepe was beside me, Rui Patricio on the other side. We all felt the same. Eder came to me and said, "Captain, this was your victory." I answered, "No, this is ours. This is Portugal's victory. You scored that goal. I only supported you." From the stands, chants of "Cristiano, Cristiano" thundered across the Stade de France. And in that roar, the little boy from Madeira could hear his dream echo. When I think back to that night, I realize we didn't just win a trophy. We gave pride to a nation. We fulfilled the dreams of a generation. Portugal was now European champion, and that title would be ours forever. Yes, I was forced to leave the pitch injured, but even off the pitch, I carried my team to the final. Leadership is not only about goals. Sometimes it's about the shouts from the sideline, the belief you give to your brothers. That night, I learned that the greatest victory of a leader is found in the success of others. Today, when I look at that trophy, I see the little boy from Madeira, the one running with broken shoes, chasing impossible dreams. And I smile, because that boy's dream came true that night. When Eder scored, it wasn't just him. It was all of Portugal that wrote history. From the sideline, from the field, together we made the same dream real. Football is not only about individual achievements. Sometimes the sweetest victories are found in celebrating the triumphs of others. From that night on, Every Portuguese child could dream big, because we showed them. Impossible is nothing. A boy from Madeira could write history on the world's biggest stage. Never give up on your dreams, because sometimes the greatest victories come after the greatest pains. That night, I began in tears, but I ended by making history. Injury forced me off, but with my spirit, I carried my team to glory. And that is why I am not just Cristiano Ronaldo. I am the symbol of everyone who has ever achieved their dream. I am the voice of everyone who never gave up. Euro 2016 was not just a tournament. It was the birth of a legend, and I was its hero. Not just on the pitch, but in heart, in spirit, in every moment. Shoo!